everybody, Sally Evans here with that video I'd promised you about painting with oil sticks. I use them as accents at the end of my paintings when I'm finished with an acrylic and kind of make my paintings more of a mixed media. I am a graphic designer by trade and I love the use of line and the scribbles with it and the extra dimension it gives paintings, and I discovered that these oil sticks are a really fun way to jazz up my acrylic paintings at the end of them. I almost look forward to finishing a painting now so that I can use the sticks and really dive in and do some fun things at the end of a painting. Although sometimes I'm really sad when a painting's finished. I feel like I've lost a best friend and it's time to move on to something else. But that's the way it goes in art. So since we're creating, we get very attached to our work, I think, sometimes, which that's a good thing. So I'm going to talk about 3 different brands of oil stick today that I've played with, and I'll share with you what I think the best features are of the 3, and maybe what the features are that aren't so great of the 3. I have one I lean more towards than a couple of others that I tend to enjoy a little bit more. Here is the R&F brand. These are really beautiful. They're really soft. They're full of a lot of oil. And unfortunately, some of these break up and end up doing like this. I don't know why, but it's just what they tend to do. So if I use them, I'm going to end up painting with them on with a brush. Actually, I dig into the stick and paint with a brush. So most of the time, these oil sticks have like an oil film that coats them. I don't know why, but I guess because they've got wax in them. They have a lot of wax in them, actually. So it's best to kind of take them, use a paper towel. I use a paper plate. And you can kind of just get that oily wax off of them to start painting with them. So the R&F are really beautiful because they're very opaque. They're very creamy. You can do a lot of work with blending. I've got one down here that's all crunchy that I'll dig into real quick. And they tend to go on, I would think, more like a normal oil paint. You can do blending like normal oil paintings. I'm not much of an oil painter. I was taught in acrylics most of my life. I feel kind of gypped that I didn't learn oil painting, but I think I'll get this mastered before all is said and done. So with the wax being in these sticks, you can just go ahead and kind of push it in. It gets warm and it kind of melts into the canvas with the brush. If you get big globs, you can just take it off, wipe it off, use a paper towel. So I recommend when you're painting in these, or I guess painting at all, you should always probably have on gloves. Our materials are very poisonous. They can cause cancer, especially the cadmium colors. I like to have paper towels, and I like to have wet ones around. Those are really great. And they're really great for when you are using any medium pastels, acrylics. Also, it's good to have turpentine. Mine's a little dirty. You can remove these. You can dip them into turpentine, your brushes, which thins them out like a true oil paint. And then that way you can get more of a transparent coat with them, which is really beautiful. The other thing to remember with the R&Fs is that these can take up to 2 weeks to dry. I like to paint very direct and very thick. And these can go on very thick, which is one of my favorite properties of this particular stick. But this can take up to 2 weeks. So sometimes I'll put them out in the car because it's nice and hot here in Florida right now. We're in the middle of summer. And, you know, if you want to dry faster, if you're on a deadline, you really need this painting to get out the door, I would recommend just going a little thinner with them. It's always a good idea. The next brand I will talk to you about will be the Shiva. These are nice. My only objection to these is that they don't go on quite as opaque as the R&F. But they're fun. Once they get warm and get going, they get creamier and smoother and easier to work with. But as you can see, this purple is really transparent. And when I go over my works at the end and really want to get my squiggly lines, I really, let me get the wax off of this. The best way to get the wax off Like I said, paper towel using the paper plate is really good. And as you can see, now you can really see the pigment as I'm kind of digging in and peeling that wax off. You can see that. You can see the wax right there. This one is pretty transparent. I really like my oil sticks to be a little more opaque, but it's fine. I've gotten these to work and do some fun things. You can also scumble and have fun like that. This one I used yesterday, so it's not quite as sticky with the wax. And that way you can just kind of get some jaggedy lines, grab the texture of the canvas, get some really beautiful effects with these. Like I said, you can go back in with the brush. Here is the pink kind of fuchsia color with their sticks. That red is nice and opaque though, the CAD red, I really like that. And this one, it's a little more opaque, it's doing a little better. And you can just blend them in and have fun with them, use them on the side. They kind of remind me of pastels, which is why I think I enjoy them so much. I'd probably say my most favorite brand is the Sennelier, and of course their colors are gorgeous, the consistency is gorgeous. Get the wax off of this. And the wax seems to come off easier. These do not melt and get super soft like the R&F do. But I will say the R&F is sold here at Sam Flax in Orlando, and you can find them at Dick Blick in Tampa. Obviously, they're on all your art catalogs and the art catalog you use. But they do come in a variety of colors. It's just mind-boggling. And of course, that's like, you know, to us, kid in a candy store with artists. Sennelier doesn't offer quite as many colors that I've seen on the catalogs, but I think their overall consistency is just really great. It goes on opaque without having to put a ton of it on. And these do dry overnight pretty much, just like the Shiba do. These dry really fast. So if you're in a hurry and you're wanting to get that last bit of effect on a painting and get that last little scribble or outline, these do a great job, and I really, really do love them. And of course, their colors are so magnificent too. And you can take the turpentine and just kind of smooth them around. Get some cool blending with the turpentine. And if you put these on an area and you're not overly happy with it, you can absolutely take your turpentine and wipe it off, or even use the wet one and wipe them off. And sometimes it's kind of better because you're not wasting so much of your paint. I mean, these are paint. They aren't free. They're a little expensive, but you know, you just don't feel like you've mixed up a half a pound of paint and then you slap it on the canvas and go, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like the shade. I don't like the value. This way you can play around and have a little more freedom and not feel so intimidated by it. And you can push them into each other. Actually, this is a Sennelier CAD red. I apologize. It's not a Shiba. So that's why it's so opaque and it's doing such beautiful things. I was going to go with the greens to accent the pinks and the purples, which is the complement. And I'll show you my sad color wheel that got damaged in Irma that I've had for years and years and years. But I love this thing. It's my favorite. So that was my thought. Paintings don't always go along with what we think. They have a mind of their own, and if you're an artist, you understand this, you know this. Sometimes you just have to go with the way it wants to go. We have all these preconceived, you know, notions about it, and then it's like, nope, that's not the way it's going to work. So with this one, the more I look at it, I was thinking maybe the light blue in this section, and it'll just have a little less green, but I'm thinking that this is coming too forward and kind of fighting with the rest of the painting. And I really want this to be calm and quiet towards the back. Although I will put warm colors in a background and mix that all up. That doesn't really bother me. I just do what I feel is best and what my feelings say about the painting at the time. So I will brush some of this on and do a quick demo of that. Sit with it a couple of days, see if I like it. I'm going to use this Cerulean Extra Pale It's the RNF, and it has fallen all apart on me. So I'm going to dip in here around the wax and put it on with a brush. So I'll show you that real quick. Here we go. This will be fairly thick, and maybe later, if I want to, I'll just go ahead and you see, as I push it in, the wax starts to melt, and that's just really fun. This isn't so much the outlining that I like to do, but using the bristle brush, it leaves a lot of strokes and brush marks, which are just really beautiful and make paintings absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. And I am going to leave some of this green because I absolutely love it. Grab some more paint. And I'm just putting it on like you would oil paint, which kind of maybe defeats the purpose of having it in a stick, but it's nice that you can kind of have it both ways, scumble it around, have some of the green showing through. When it sets up, you can come back over it again. And the wax just kind of melts on in there. Once I'm finished with these, since they are mixed media, I tend to spray them with a varnish that's good for acrylic and oil. And then once that's dry, sometimes I come back over and brush on with a acrylic varnish. I really love Golden. Theirs are very flexible. I've not had any cracking with them, and I've used them for years and years. So we'll see how I like that in the next couple of days, and I will show you with a wet wipe, since I chipped a big glob down there, that we can just wipe that off, or take the turpentine and wipe it off. Comes right off. And turpentine doesn't lift acrylic paint, so that's a really positive thing. It doesn't bother it. So that is my quick demo with oil stick, teaching some Zoom classes through the Art Center of Winslow Art Center out of Seattle, Washington. I'm getting really excited about that. We're going to start with a 2-day workshop in September, and that's right around the corner. Oh my gosh, we're halfway through July. Anyway, if you have any questions, please direct message me, or you can email me at sally@sallyevans.com. Please sign up for my newsletter at sallyevans.com. And thank you for following me. I love you guys. Stay safe. Just stay COVID-free. Wear your mask. Don't touch your face. And wash those hands. But gloves work really well, too. I've been using these when I go shopping. Alrighty, you guys have a great day.